Welcome students. Welcome to this 11th lecture of non-traditional machining process. In this lecture, we are going to see the part 3 of the laser beam machining. Let us see what is the content of this lecture. So we are going to see about the setup for laser beam machining and the controlling parameters for the laser beam machining. So this is the schematic sketch of the laser beam machining, and it consists of the ruby rod with reflecting mirrors. So center, this is the ruby rod with reflecting mirror, with having one end the fully reflecting mirror. In the other end we have the partially reflective mirror, and the flash lamp which wounded the ruby rod, and the cooling arrangement which is used to cool the flash lamp, and the lens which is used to for the focusing the laser light towards our face, and the power supply. Okay, so this is the setup of the laser beam machining. The major setup consists of flash lamp, ruby rod, and the ruby rod with two reflecting mirrors, one end having the fully reflecting mirror and the other end having the partially reflecting mirror, and the lens and the power supply. Let us see one by one. Now we are going to see about the ruby rod with reflecting mirror. So ruby rod, we know it is a crystalline aluminum oxide which is about 10 mm in diameter and 100 mm in length. And moreover, we know that this crystalline aluminum oxide is embedded with 0.05% of chromium ions. Okay, and this is called the ruby rod. Ruby rod means the crystalline aluminum oxide which having embedded with chromium ions. Okay, so normally this ruby rod is about 10 mm in dia and 10 centimeter in length. Okay, 10 mm in dia and 10 centimeter in length. The two ends of a ruby rod are made reflective by two parallel mirrors. Okay, we having a two parallel mirrors. You can see this is one mirror and this is another mirror. But this mirror you having 100% reflective, and this mirror you having a partially reflective or 95% reflective. Okay, so that when the photons emitted by the atoms, it will go and incident on the mirrors, so that it will reflect, and again it's going back here. That will happens continuously. A simultaneous emission will happen, so that from the partially reflective mirror a beam of light which comes out from the ruby rod is called the laser beam. See, this is how the actual ruby laser rod looks like. You can see the view through the rod is crystal clear. See, this is one person holding this ruby rod. You can see how the ruby rod. So from one end to other end, you can see it will be look like a crystal clear. Okay, you can see this, and this is the flash tube which surrounds the ruby rod, and this is the actual ruby rod looks like. Okay, and these are the components of the original ruby laser. Now let's come to the flash lamp. The flash lamp in ruby rod. So a flash lamp. So this is the flash lamp which surrounded the ruby rod. It is filled with the gas like xenon, argon, or krypton, and etc. And these are some rare gases. So this flash lamp is filled with gases like xenon, argon, and krypton, and etc. So the flash lamp surrounds the ruby rod. When the flash lamp is charged, it starts emitting high intense flashes of light. So when this flash lamp is charged, it starts emitting high intense flashes of light. Okay, it produces high intense flashes of light. So the ruby rod and flash lamp both are kept in a highly reflecting cylinder. So this is the cylinder, and which These two are kept inside a highly reflecting cylinder. And this is how the flash lamp, when it is get charged, this is how it emit the high intense beam of light inside the flash lamp. This is how the actual flash lamp look like. You can see without the emission, this is just like a glass tube, and inside the glass tube it's filled with the gases like xenon, argon or krypton, and this pink color is the ruby rod, and this ruby rod is surrounded with the flash lamp, and you can see it clearly. Now let's come to the cooling arrangement. The efficiency of the ruby rod reduces at higher temperature. Okay, when it reaches a high temperature, the ruby rod's efficiency is reduced. Therefore, it is necessary to continuously cool the ruby rod. Okay, so for the purpose, liquid nitrogen at minus 196 degrees Celsius is supplied to the ruby rod. And one more thing, the flash lamp operates best when it is warm, and hence hot air is circulate around it. Okay, but ruby rod loses its efficiency when the temperature is higher. So we need to maintain the appropriate or optimum temperature so that it will not reduce the efficiency. And the same time we need to provide the cooling effect also. At the same time, this flash rod need the warm temperature. For that, whenever it is necessary, we have to send the hot air to circulate it. A vacuum chamber is provided between the two to maintain the temperature difference between them. In order to maintain the cool and the warm temperature, we are providing a vacuum space or vacuum chamber between the two. Between the two means between the ruby rod and the flash lamp. Now let's consider the focusing lens. So the laser beam is passed through a laser beam from the ruby rod is passed through the lens onto the workpiece. So before the beam of light, when the beam of light is coming from the ruby rod, if you're going for any machining purposes, we are not directly send the beam to the machining purposes. So it will not do any work because it is just like a beam of light, and the intense of light is not enough to machine the workpiece. So that in order to increase the intense of the beam of light, we need to focus all the beam towards one point. For that we need a lens. Okay, so that the lens application or the lens is provided here in order to have a focused beam or the intense beam towards the workpiece for machining purpose. Okay, here the focal length should be accurate in order to machine the workpiece. You can see here. The next setup of laser beam machining is the power supply, and it is one of the major important thing in the setup of laser beam machining. So when the power supply is made on, it switch on the flash lamp, and which emits flashes of light, high intense of light. This flash lamp will produce. So this flash lamp, this emission of flash lamp, it also emit photons, that radiation which incident on the ruby rod, so that atoms and electrons in the ruby rod get excited. Okay, so that it gets excited, and it also spontaneously which comes to jump to the higher energy level, and from the higher energy level it comes back to the lower energy level, and it at the same time it releases a photons. That photons that photons inside the ruby rod, it will incident on the reflecting mirror, and it's again reflecting back to the partially reflecting mirror. It's to and fro this emission happen. So this amplified stream of light comes through the partially transparent mirror, and it's focused on the lens. Okay, so this electrons to and fro, it's focused, and so that when it's become a high beam of photons, it will comes out of this partially transparent mirror, and it's come to the lens, and it will be focused towards the workpiece. So the lens converges the laser beam on the workpiece. You can see how this is working in this animation. When the power supply is on, so when the power supply is on, so that the flash lamp switches on, and because of the flash lamp light incident on the ruby rod, it will induce the atoms to move to the higher energy level, so that the electrons is moving to from a lower energy to a higher energy level, and thereby it emitting the photons. These photons move to and fro and reflecting, and spontaneous and reflection happen, and stimulation emission of photons also happen. And the one time it comes from this transparent, you can see from this transparent mirror, partially transparent mirror, and is by using the lens, it will focus towards the workpiece. When the laser beam, when the focused converged laser beam incident on the workpiece, and this laser melts the workpiece and vaporizes it, which results in machining of the workpiece. Okay, this laser which incident on the workpiece melts the workpiece and vaporizes it, which results in machining of workpiece. And during operation, the workpiece is to be cut, is placed on the aluminum work table, and the motion can be given either to workpiece or to the beam, or both, depending upon the requirement. Whatever the according to the requirement, you can give the motion towards the workpiece according for the required desired machining surface, or you can give the movement or motion towards to the this laser beam. Okay, either, or you can do the movement for these two by using either CNC operation or manual. And here the operator visually inspects the process and accordingly adjusts the motion. So any operator who involved in this machining process, who can visually inspect the process, and according to that he can adjust the motion. Now let's come to the controlling parameters for the laser beam machining. So the main process parameters or controlling parameters in laser beam machining are focal length, flash lamp, and the power density. Let's see one by one. First, focal length. So the workpiece should be placed close to the lens for machining. So this is the workpiece and this is the lens. Okay, the distance between the lens and the workpiece is the focal length. So that the focal length should be minimum, so that in order to have a good machining. If the focal length is very less, straight holes will be produced. Okay, focal length will be very less means straight hole. It means the convergence will not happen, so that the beam like a drilling, how the drilling happen, like this much distance the beam, it's directly put a hole in the workpiece. And if the focal length is more, taper hole will be produced like this. Okay, so that we need to find the optimum length between the optimum distance between the lens and the workpiece. That is the optimum focal length we need to find out according to the machining process, so that we will have a good surface finished machining process in this laser beam machining. Next come to the flash lamp. So flash lamp operates at a rate of 12 flashes every single minute For every single minute, this flash lamp produces 12 flashes, and it should be kept warm to obtain maximum efficiency. Okay, the flash lamp need to kept warm to obtain maximum efficiency. So this is how the flash lamp looks like. Already we saw that in the second flash lamp. So this is how the flash lamp operates when you are giving the power supply. Inside the flash lamp, we know it is filled with argon, xenon and krypton, and some rare gas. This is how it's looked like the normal flash lamp. Next comes to the power density. The power density of the beam determines whether the beam will perform the function of cutting or welding. Okay, what type of application we are going? We need to know what type of application we are going to perform. Whether we are going for the cutting operation or whether we are going for the welding operation. Cutting means we are cut the piece into two. Welding means we are joining the piece into one. So this power density plays a major role in the controlling parameter of the laser beam according to the application or the function, whether it is cutting or welding. For machining operation, the power density should be higher, that is around 1.5 into 10 power 7 watt per centimeter square. So it must be very higher. So this laser beam having we are using very high powers. So for a normal machining operation, the power density should be higher, that is around 1.5 into 10 power 7 watt per centimeter square. So now let's come to the summary. So in this lecture we saw about the setup for LBM, and we found we noticed there are the 5 major components involved in the setup of laser beam machining. One is a ruby rod with reflecting mirrors, then flash lamp, what about the next one? Power supply, then the lens, and the next the cooling parameter. Okay, so cooling chamber. So these are the 5 contents, main components involved in the setup for laser beam machining. And second we saw about the controlling parameters. We saw 3 controlling parameters which controls the laser beam machining according to our purpose or according to our applications. One is the focal length, that is the distance between the workpiece and the lens, and the second is the flash lamp, and the third one is the power density. And this is the reference which I used for this lecture. So thank you students, thank you for this lecture. We'll see in the next lecture.